Cynicism can be easily to fall into it. I've done it, you've done it, but it's a challenge to break free from it.
Fear of disappointment is a barrier, but try shifting your focus from outcome to process.
When you look at millionaires and billionaires and businesses and how they've built, a lot of them have dealt with things not turning out well. Hey, I started this, it didn't work, so now I got to pivot.
Feedback is not an indictment on you.
No.
It's really to help you know how to move forward with what you have been given. And you've got people that are there to test it for you so that you know, how do I move this forward?
Welcome to Expertise Unleashed, where we help you unlock your potential, explore what's holding you back, and unleash the full power of your expertise. I'm Brian.
And I'm Michelle. And today we are actually diving into that sneaky little thief that gets in the way of your creativity, and it's called cynicism. And sometimes it's a mindset that if it creeps into our mindset, and sometimes we don't even really realize that it's there. But before we know it, it really impacts or impedes our creativity, and our creativity will suffer because of it. So, Brian?
That's right. Whether it's through small disappointments, failed projects, or just the weight of the day, cynicism can be easily to fall into it. I've done it, you've done it, but it's a challenge to break free from it. So today, we're discussing 5 ways cynicism stifles your creativity and how to recognize it, and more importantly, how to overcome it.
Yeah. You know what? And here's one of the challenges, right? So the first reason that cynicism sometimes gets in the way is it's a lack of trust in new ideas, right? That lack of trust in those new ideas. And cynicism, it often makes us a little skeptical.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like anything fresh, assuming that it just won't work or that it's bound to fail. It's almost like you become the skeptic. Yeah. Everything or anything new is something wrong with it.
Something wrong with it. Yeah, so it's like when, you're stuck in a mindset. Mm-hmm. It's like having, blinders on, like horses, they run, they have blinders on, so they can block out everything around them and stay focused on their race. But it's like you have blinders on, to any new possibilities, any new realities, anything like that. So instead of seeing the potential, what happens is we immediately look for flaws.
Yeah.
I know I've done that. I know you've done that, so that kills creativity, because we thrive on the belief that new ideas are worth exploring.
Yeah. So here's one of the ways that you can combat that, because, we don't want to be our own worst critic. We hear people say that, and we don't want to do that to ourselves. Like, who wants to be the person that has no creativity? So we don't want to get in our own way. So the best way to combat that for yourself is to, let yourself experiment without the pressure of success. How do we do that? The best way to do that is reframe your new ideas as tests rather than final outcomes. Let everything be a test. The goal is simply to explore.
Yes.
Versus not judging every idea harshly from the very start. Give it an opportunity to let's just test. This is only a test. Remember years ago, it used to on TV, it would come on when you watch regular old prime time TV, and it would come on and it would be all those multicolored panels would be across the TV. This is only a test. Yeah, that's let your ideas have an opportunity to be tested as a test. You don't have to judge it too harshly. Have multiple ideas and let's just test them.
You know what? That reminds me of a story, because I know when we first started, or when I started thinking about, going into business, I immediately was like, okay, this can work and we can help a lot of people and provide this service. And then immediately, like right after that, it was like, man, don't nobody want to eat what you cooking. How you going to market this? Where's the business going to come from? All of these things. And it was kind of like, it was a distrust of even my own idea, because that's really what cynicism is. It's not trusting what somebody else is saying or doing, or thinking their agenda, or they're out to get something. But, we do that to ourselves. So,
Yeah.
it just reminds, a lot of things come back when I think about, because by nature, sometimes I am a cynic.
Yeah. And here's the thing. You're a good cook. You know what I mean? Like when you were cooking for other people, people liked your cooking. And it was good stuff. So people ate it and people enjoy what it was that you were putting out. So, and you had a level of success when you were doing catering. And so a lot of times your ideas are good ones if you don't shoot them down before they ever get an opportunity to even percolate.
Yeah, 100%.
So the first thing that you can do is give your ideas the opportunity to be used as tests first and not judged too harshly.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Second reason, viewing feedback as criticism instead of growth. Now, this is a huge one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because a lot of people have a lot of opinions and things like that. But viewing feedback as criticism rather than growth is important, because when you're cynical, it's easy to hear feedback, as a personal attack or proof that something is wrong with your idea, when in fact, nothing is actually wrong with your idea, but you do need to bounce your ideas off people around you that you trust, who will give you honest criticism or feedback, so you can improve and move forward.
Yeah. You know what? Exactly. Cynicism, man, makes us defensive. And a lot of times it'll cause us to shut down our creative collaboration. And we really do need to collaborate with other people and get some of that feedback in order for us to be able to know. We got to get some people to test some things for us, right? We need to really get real user, they call it user data. Right? You want to have we would have beta testers to test things for us. As a matter of fact, you've probably gone to the mall or you've gone places and they give you a sample of something to test or to try. And that's feedback. So they can let you know if they're testing food, they can let you know if it's too salty or if it's too sweet. Mm-hmm. That's the same thing as your feedback, right? And so it's all right. Instead of taking feedback, consider taking feedback as a way for you to improve what it is that you're doing. We take it as a confirmation that our ideas aren't good enough, but really they're telling you how you can improve what it is that you're doing. And one of the things that I like to say, don't call it feedback. Won't you call it feed forward? This is how it's going to tell you how to move forward on that idea.
I like that.
So it's feed forward instead of feedback. Yeah. Is that a good way for you to look at it?
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, we oftentimes we look at it a certain way, but like you said, we have to look at it as information, rather than judgment. Look at it as an opportunity, like you said, to make your work stronger, make my work stronger, make your idea stronger. Ask questions like, what could this feedback teach me?
Yes.
How will this make things better? How can I use this, to move out further, in what this calling is that I have? So, don't look at it as judgment.
It's not judgment.
It's all information.
Yes.
You sift out the good information from the bad information, and we just simply keep it moving.
Yeah. And I think that's all good stuff. Yeah. Feedback is not an indictment on you.
No.
It's really to help you know how to move forward with what you have been given. And you've got people that are there to test it for you so that how do I move this forward? So
that brings up another story that I remember.
Share a story with us, guys.
So, when we were catering, my partner and I, we had this lemonade that
oh, that was good lemonade.
And he came up with it and everything. And, and I thought it was a real opportunity that there was something there with it, because really most people don't know this, but the whole reason really I wanted to start catering was to ultimately get products in stores.
Yeah.
And branch out that way, but I remember I took the recipe and started dabbling, and then I started, getting the flavors and stuff. Well, I had to test this stuff on somebody.
Right.
So I remember when I first started, I would give it to people and everybody didn't always like it.
Yeah.
But one thing that I trained myself to do was say, hey, give me your honest feedback, or your criticism on it, so I could take that back and make adjustments. And then after a while, I'm going to say probably after about a year or so, the product that I had that I was able to create from the feedback, because people were honest with me and I took it as such, was so valuable. I went from just the starting phase to selling that stuff for $5 a jug. When nobody selling stuff for $5 a gallon.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty profitable for me, developing all that. But had I not had the feedback, what people like, what they don't like, I could never have found out what the majority of what people do like.
Right.
So it just kind of propelled me further having that feedback. So it is very critical.
It is. You know what? And that's the same thing that you're talking about there. A lot of times is creating surveys. Companies ask you to do surveys, right? Like you go to a website and there's a feedback form on the website. Or companies that you work with, they may send you a survey and say, hey, I've got a new product that we're considering putting out, or we're thinking about how have you liked our service, and they're asking you because they want to tailor or customize products and services to fit your needs and your specifications. And so getting feedback is a way for you to do what it is that you do better, improve upon your idea, improve upon your service. So companies that are doing well, they do well because they have asked for feedback.
Often.
Yeah.
Often.
That's the way that they do better. So thinking about it from the starting point, you are asked you ask for feedback and you take that feedback. Don't think of it as judgment. Yeah. Feedback is going to help you go forward and do better. So remember, and don't even call it feedback anymore. Remember, we've given you a new term. It's not feedback, it's feed forward. All right. So we're gonna hit this third point now. The next thing that sometimes cynicism will do, it will cause you to be disappointed. Right. So moving that reason number 3 is that fear of being disappointed by the outcome. Sometimes cynicism can keep you from even starting because you're uncertain about how things will turn out. Yeah. You don't think it's going to turn out well. So you don't even start because you don't know how it's going to finish.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we're constantly bracing for disappointment, it's natural to hold back. So here's the thing, about creativity, it does involve risk.
It does.
It does involve risk. Now, nobody's saying, quit your job and go start doing something. Nobody is saying that, but you do need to take some calculated risks. And so while not every creative project, will end in success, each one is a stepping stone that leads to growth. Hey, you know what? You're going to try some things. It's not going to work out, but in my research, when you look at millionaires and billionaires and businesses and how they've built, a lot of them have dealt with, things not turning out well. Hey, I started this, it didn't work. So now I got to pivot, so you can't really worry about the disappointment of it. Don't let your cynicism hold you back from getting started and doing whatever it is that you need to do or you're wanting to do. Listen, don't worry about the disappointment, because mentors they will always tell you, what if it does work?
Yeah.
What if it does work?
Yeah. No, that is so true. You know what? That fear of disappointment, I will tell you, is a barrier. Right? We know that it's a barrier. Everybody will tell you that. But try shifting your focus from outcome to process.
Yes.
Don't even think about or don't worry about what the outcome will be. Focus more on this being a process. And along the process, that sometimes it's going to be some challenges with it, right? Remind yourself that creating itself is valuable. The whole process. Think about it this way. Whenever you are think of like process oriented goals, right? Like committing to work on a project for 30 minutes a day. Maybe that's what you have in from a time perspective, rather than focusing on, the whole total outcome of the project. Hey, if I say you got to build a website for your business, you know what, I'm gonna work on it a little bit a day, rather than I'm going to just do the whole project all in one sitting. I'm going to do a little bit of it at a time so it can be refined over time, as opposed to trying to do the whole thing as one thing. I think about it this way. When you baking a batch of cookies, every single cookie doesn't come out exactly the same. You know how, even when you mix up the batter and everything, each cookie you using the same spoon, or what do you call that? The ice cream scoop, or the little scoop to put them on the tray. But every cookie doesn't come out exactly identical. As a matter of fact, some of them be a little bit wonky or a little, and I kind of like that little one where it ain't that much left in the bowl at the end. And so it's always a little one that's a little bit awkward or a little bit funny shaped or whatever when it comes.
For sure.
I like that one. I might eat, that was the one that I like to eat first, like to taste it, to get a sample of it. So it's a process. Some things are not going to be perfect, and it's totally okay. So think about it that way. A lot of what we're doing when we are unleashing our expertise and trying new things and moving out, we're trying to get barriers out of our mindset first.
Yes.
That kind of prohibits us from moving forward or taking steps or actioning on the things that we're doing. And that's how you get to the end of your goals, is by helping yourself get out of your own way. Yeah. So sometimes you just got to reframe it. Don't worry about the outcome. Think of it as more the process.
Yes.
That way you're not even really disappointed by anything. You know that it's going to be a process from the get-go.
Yeah, nobody goes into taking swimming lessons with the idea of, after I get these lessons, I'm going to drown anyway. No, you go to take the swimming lessons so you can go through the proper steps, so you can learn how to swim. So when you do get in the water, you're fine.
Yeah.
But if you're going into the, if you think, well, sure, I'm gonna take swimming lessons and I'm gonna drown anyway, that's like you're disappointing yourself even before you've gotten started. So we don't want to do that, and we don't want people to be in that mental space either.
Right.
So please come out of that. So number 4, believing everything has been done before. Now, believing everything has been done before is kind of like, yes, we all know the Bible tells us there's nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
However, this kind of cynicism makes us feel like there's no point in creating something new now. So this is what I would say to people. Listen, the idea did not pop into your head for you not to do or explore. So just because things are out there doesn't mean they can't be improved upon. It doesn't mean they can't be pushed along further. You may have a new twist on it, or you may come up with something that we may not have seen before and do it in a different way.
Yeah. You know what? And that's it. I mean, that's truly the thing. It's like you said, the Bible speaks to it, and it's easy to think that every idea is already taken. But that's simply not true. And sometimes, even if something has been done, when you put your spin and twist on it, it makes it new again, right? Making something old new again. I was watching a video. There was a young lady who was, and I cannot remember her name, so I want you guys to look her up on YouTube, because I'm sure she's out here, because I watched her video. And she redid boat anchors. And she was talking about how her and her family would go sailing on the boats, and the women would always, the guys would always go get off the boats, and the girls would always end up having to drop the anchor. And she was like, how come these boat anchors, why do all boat anchors look like this? And somebody said, well, you know what, that's just kind of how the way they looked. And her idea was, you know what, maybe we can make boat anchors look nicer. They could be more, They could be cute, can they be a little bit different, And this girl is a multi-millionaire right now because she reinvented a way to make boat anchors match the way that they match your boat. She can do them in multiple colors. They are lighter weight. They're lighter weight, but they can she has somebody to manufacture them in a way that they can still go down. She did a whole new thing with boat anchors. Now, I can tell you this. There is something out there that you can do.
Absolutely.
There's something out there and here's what I also would say. The Bible says that if any man needs wisdom, let him ask of God and he will give it to you liberally. So I would say, ask the Lord, because he will give you something that might be a witty invention that somebody else had not thought of. It could be something new out there that you can do that he hasn't given to anybody else. And so don't think that there's not something new out there that hasn't been developed yet, or that it's not something that's out there that you could create and make even better than what it once was. So don't let the cynicism interrupt your creativity, because you serve a God that's unlike any other God that can do something and give it to you in a way that he hasn't given it to anybody else.
Yeah, we should always be looking to say, how can I add my own perspective? Like you're saying, how can I add my own unique experiences? What have I experienced in life? How would people see this through my lens? Instead of, trying to be completely original all the time or come up with something, not that God can't give you anything because he can, we believe that he can,
absolutely.
But think of ways to add value, because like I said before, and I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, Jesus says, the greatest thing is to serve. The servant is the greatest of all. So I believe God gives each of us a way that we can serve humanity, serve our fellow man, and still be able to, monetize it, because we are serving. The Bible says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto us. Don't be anxious about anything, but pray about everything. Your prayer and supplication, make your request known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. So you don't have room for cynicism. It is a time waster, but we're giving you these tips so you can understand, so people can understand that there's always a more excellent way, like you said before.
Yeah.
And God has no shortage on ideas or creativity. He can do it if that is your desire. So please don't limit yourself in that way.
Do not limit yourself. All right. So we're going to give you reason number 5.
Number 5.
Man, that's cynicism, man. It will try to get in there and mess up your creativity, but I'm telling you, we're giving you the ways that you can overcome it. But here's one. All right. So finally, that 5th reason, negative self-talk and self-doubt. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I just want you, cynicism often turns inward, making us doubt our own abilities, makes us doubt whether or not we're good enough. Let me just tell you right now, you are enough and you are definitely good enough.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't let cynicism tell you something different.
So yes, when you're overly critical of yourself, it's hard to create freely. It inhibits, that whole process. Creativity requires some level of self-compassion. If you're constantly telling yourself you're not talented or that your work is not going to be worth it, you're cutting yourself off from your creative flow, your creative process, and your ability to create, because contrary to popular belief, because God spoke and created everything, we have that same type of creative force inside of us to be able to have these ideas and walk them out. But, if you're constantly doubting yourself and downing yourself, how can you rise up, to the level where God wants you to be at? Yeah.
You know what, guys, I'm telling you, self-doubt is a killer and cynicism just feeds it. And so I want you to know, I want to give you a couple of practical tips right here, because this one's a big one for me. And this is something that I do on a routine basis, because I think that the power of life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Absolutely.
And so it's so critical that the way that you talk to yourself, The way that you share stories and the narrative with yourself is going to be so powerful in how powerful you can be. And you can overcome cynicism. And so it does not impact your creativity, because we want your creativity to be up and flowing constantly, because that's the way you unleash your expertise. And we don't want you to get in your way. No. So one of the things that's so important is focus on your small wins, right? Really write them down. Reflect on what went well today. And every day I want you to do that. This is something that I do. Celebrate those small moments of creativity, because those are going to be those things, whether it's an idea that you had, whether it was starting a small project, whether it was completing something. Over time, it builds a more positive narrative around your creativity, and remember, when we talk about creativity, it will just flow. So here is, I have this thing that I call the positivity paragraph. And so every day because some people don't journal. And so I want to tell you how this is an easy journaling prompt that you can give to yourself, but write down a positivity paragraph. Okay. And so it's just one paragraph that you write to yourself each day. And a paragraph can be like 3 sentences. Okay. 3 positive sentences that you write down for your day. So it could be, I had a great day today. I was able to do my exercising that I wanted to do. I was able to walk around the neighborhood. I was able to complete a project that I started on. I was able to, my husband and I enjoyed a nice night out. We had a great weekend. I felt good about myself today because I accomplished this. You know what? Whatever it is, write 3 sentences. Write those 3 sentences down. What happens is at the end of the week, you've got a great story to tell. A positivity paragraph, 3 sentences each day that you can say about you. Because sometimes what the story that we tell about ourselves will overcome what it is that others might say about us or things that we used to say about us. Write down a positivity paragraph for yourself every day. All right. I'm telling you, it will make a difference in your life. It's perfectly okay for you to say good things about you so that you can remember how good you really are.
Good. 100%. I like that positivity paragraph. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's recap those 5 reasons why cynicism may be holding you back from creativity. First, there's a lack of trust in new ideas. Mm-hmm. Second, viewing feedback as criticism instead of growth. Third, the fear of being disappointed by the outcome. Number 4, believing that everything has been done before. And finally, the habit of negative self-talk and self-doubt. Those 5 things will hold you back, from creativity.
Yeah, and we don't want anything to be in your way of creativity. Creativity is going to open up opportunities and possibilities for you. And I'm telling you, your potential is so awesome. It's so amazing. You got so many opportunities. We do not want you to miss not one of them by letting cynicism get in the way. So if you're finding yourself in any of these habits, remember, creativity requires some patience, right? And an open mind. And so we don't want you to, get flustered or fluttered by anything. Try some of these strategies that we've discussed and see if they can help break the grip, okay? We want you to break any grips of cynicism and bring more freedom into your life and the flow of that creative process, because it's there. It's there. I feel that creativity flowing right now. Oh, do you feel it coming through?
I feel it.
Oh, yeah, it's coming through. Coming through. Creativity flow. Come on right now, it's growing. Go, Brian. Go, Brian. Go, Flo. Go, Flo. It's coming. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't give you all I can give.
Go ahead. We better close it up.
Well, shoot, thank you for joining us today. Don't let cynicism be a stumbling block for you. Remember, you have unique gifts. You have unique talents that God has given you, and you really owe it to Him to see it all the way out. That's true. So go ahead and unleash them.
Yeah, we want you to do that. Thank you guys for tuning in to Expertise Unleashed. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, and stay tuned for more insights. We're coming with you every week to unlock your potential and turn your expertise into impact.
And remember, some people are meant to build small businesses, some people are meant to build big businesses, and some people are meant to build empires. Which one are you?